see. I think we live. I think we live. Very different setup tonight. Let's see what tonight holds. Okay, I got a battery. I'm trying some things, trying to change some things up. Some is by necessity. Daywalk, what's up? Do you hear me clearly, Daywalk? I got a lot going on over here. I've been struggling with my equipment. Alright. How was your day, Daywalk? It's good to see you, man. Uh, been grounded for 3 days. Oh, you'll get through, man. You'll get through. What does grounded look like in 2026? What is being grounded? You just get your Nintendo Switch, or everything gets taken away. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, peoples. Jaja, I don't know if you were in here. That's cool that you were excited. Hope you made it. So today, possibly a short one. Um, no, nothing. You get nothing. Okay. Possibly a short one. I'm testing out some equipment changes. I got some feedback that I'm trying to work through. Um, hey, change could be good. Um, but made it at the beginning. Hey, what's up, Katie? Yeah, no worries, no worries. Late is fine. I'm not really a late person. I try to really be on time all the time. And I'm still getting used to the whole streaming thing, so it's no worries. Uh, there's some days where super populated, or at least for me, and then there's some days where it starts off and you're waiting and you're waiting. So no matter what, I try to bring the positive energy and be here. So today, um, the title of the stream is "You Have It All Figured Out, Don't You?" And it stems from it, and definitely gonna need some of that interaction in the chat. I'm glad that a lot of you are saying that you're living for today. That's a pretty good start. If you hold true to that, I think that's the way to go. That's where I would suggest people be at. It's just like live for today. But I feel like I've been having conversations, and I've witnessed or have heard a lot of people like to give a lot of advice. And I know myself as somebody who often gives, when I give advice, I acknowledge the part when it sounds like I'm talking to myself about trying to get better about something. And I usually I usually call that out. I have no problem calling out, like, yeah, I'm probably talking to myself right now about, the thing that I'm telling you. It sounds so good when I'm telling you this, but really, I'm talking to myself. Dawn, welcome back. Dawn Edwards, welcome back. Howdy from Nashville. Bucket list. I went to the Pigeon Forge area. Didn't make it to Nashville, but I will be going there. So yeah, have you guys have you been in that situation? Are you the one giving advice, or are you the one who receives advice? Um, but it just seems like a lot of people have a lot to say about the things that we should do, or what's going to give us an advantage to get somewhere, to go somewhere. And I think today, I absolutely got to do Nashville. I think today I really just sat down and was like, it kind of weighed my spirit down, and I was just like, we've gotten nowhere. Like, I don't really know someone who can change my reality. I don't think I know a person that I would say could change my reality. Like, whether it's their advice, and I don't see it that way. I don't think that my reality could just be changed by some words, and not effort. And right before the stream, I was trying to get this stuff together. I changed the camera tonight. So I was planning on doing it anyway. I'm building like a little game room situation, what we call the Game Studio 1, in the house now, and for the children and myself, the big gamer. And I don't know where to put my desk, so bear with me. It's a lot. I'm in the same program and the same computer, but I pretty much just moved everything. So if it looks like there's a closet behind me and I'm in a closet, I'm not in the closet, but there is a closet right behind me. Let me just read off the poll real quick. Are you living for, and today, yesterday, tomorrow, and not even sure? So 100% say today. So far 6 votes. That's pretty cool. Dawn Edwards says, I'm a nurse. I give it advice all the time. Now, Dawn, do you get random calls from friends and family who think you could solve their problems, being that you're a nurse? I've kind of experienced that. people, like, I'm a software engineer, so somebody would call me about their printer. The printer isn't working, so let's call Darnell, see what he can do to help us about a printer. Yep. No, I know it. And you can't fault them. From my experience, and just engaging with how my family sees what you're supposed to do as a family member when the family member is getting care in the hospital, is 1,000% different than when I watch my wife's family and how they approach it. So everyone just doesn't know. Like, that's part of the reason why people use the ER or the ED the way they do, because they just don't know. They were just kind of raised like that. You call it your payback. Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen a Pell Grant. I haven't even thought about that in a long time. Man, that took me back. I get like shivers when I go back in my academic story. I have so much, like, if anything I really need therapy for, it's probably academics and what it did to me. Well, not so much family. My sisters are in. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we got a lot of medical professionals around me as well. That's cool. But yeah, you said the Pell Grant, and that kind of like took me. It took me back. I have these nightmares still till this day. I have nightmares that I am back as an undergrad student, and I'm still waiting to hear what I need to do. It's probably last semester or the last year, and I'm still waiting to figure out what I need to do to get over the hump. And I'm never getting there. It's always like, okay, you gotta take 18 credits this semester. And I wake up, and when I actually wake up, I am super serious. I do not know that I have a degree when I wake up. It takes me like 10 minutes to be like, they got you again, man. They got you again. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on with that. I am so traumatized from my college. Dudes was not easy. I had to make below the poverty. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, they have a I don't know much about it, but they, I guess a couple years ago in New York State, they made the state school tuition free, but your household has to make under, I think, 100, or I don't know if they moved it up to 120. Um, okay, okay, yeah, it gets trickier. It's almost like they want you to, um, you know, live at that poverty line. I remember when I was in the Bronx still, and this is before I was married. You know, like they put up a lot of new apartments, but it's affordable housing apartments, and I think I had made like 5,000 more than this apartment. It's like the people who are gonna be living there, they're probably gonna be living better than me anyway. People figure out ways to get stuff and get stuff done. Um, so, but no, that's cool. But yeah, so the topic is really just about, have you have it all figured out, don't you? And I hope people really take a step back sometimes and listen to what they're saying. Oh, that's so cool, Katie. I could share that. I could share that with you. I dream about going back to school. I've told my daughter that I might wanna go back to be a teacher. I was looking at jobs that are just gonna be here, that are pretty much guaranteed, and I've always liked working with children. But I really want to help school districts to gain an advantage. So I don't know if teaching is the route, but I feel like school districts and government, they're always a little behind when it comes to what they teach. We were talking about that a little bit. I don't know if it was last night or the other night, but it was last night. Like, they don't teach what they should be teaching, like real world skills, and you're still doing the same standardized stuff, and then eventually the kids got to go to college, and then that's what kind of separates them. But that's cool. I'm afraid of being phased out. Yep. AI medical records job. Ooh. Oh, it's well, you know what? It always comes back to AI for me. I have most. That's probably the thing that I speak about the most, because when I'm at work, they pump the AI lingo. I use it to an extent personally. I use it to help me out with the YouTube somewhat. There are limits for me. But yeah, I mean, what can you do? Because it's not that AI is a good replacement for all these jobs. Is that the people who make decisions about where we're going, they're excited. That's the scariest part, is that they're excited about AI. So you can't really do anything about somebody's excitement. You can't, this is not something that you could quantify. So people are excited. They're energized, you know. Honestly, work as a waitress, lived on tips. Hey, I think about that too. I was talking to actually my manager, and we were just going back and forth and said, I've thought about working at Home Depot. To me, it's just a weird time, and I hate to say, but I feel blindsided by what this turned into as far as like my profession. And it doesn't have to be that way, but again, we don't make the decisions. If I made 20 that day, is what I made. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but if you are taking care of other stuff, like that's kind of why I garden. That's why I keep chickens. I mean, it's a safety mechanism. When COVID was here, I actually showed up at the park and was picking walnuts, and I went and got 5 buckets of walnuts. It's like, I'm gonna feed my family somehow. I started getting into foraging, knowing what weeds to eat. So if it's about eating, I'm gonna figure that one out. Took 3 years to get past algebra for me. Didn't even need it. Oh yeah, that sucks. Yeah, and you know what's funny? I was a very smart Math, that's the only thing that I really did. Like, if I could do that every day, I would do it. I was really smart. I was actually competitive. I used to be in competitive math competitions. But the thing that they didn't do was they didn't help me to translate what that would turn into as a career. So I just looked at it as just a school requirement, like literally like just say elementary school, primary school. I just looked at it as a requirement because it's just a core class. I mean, most people say they don't use it. I beg to differ. I use most forms of math every day. When I'm in the garden, I'm using it. I'm ignoring it. I use it all the time, and obviously, as a software engineer, I definitely use it. Yeah, well, I went to junior college, so I know what that remedials be like. We used to have at the junior college I went to, you had to take a exam to get in. It was like to evaluate you, and so I don't think I was in 101 for reading. Oh, you definitely use it. If you're in nursing, you probably adding up dosages and yep, use ratios. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be. I have a good question. I have a good question for you, Dawn. And Katie, feel free to jump in on this one. Um, I've observed children because I have children, and I've observed other children, and because I used to work in schools, um, I love community college, by the way. um, I used to, I observe people, and then now that I'm in the world and have been for some time, and when you work jobs, you see people who you question how they got where they are because they don't seem to have these extraordinary skills that match, you know, the job that the role that they may have. So it always made me wonder, what is the bare minimum requirement of learning these core classes, right? So what do we have, like yep. So yep, absolutely got to observe. So you have ELA, you have math. They may throw in a little bit of history and some science. But the question is, at what age do you think in the modern day, with how these kids are learning things indirectly through all the technology that they may use, they may even learn through the people that they watch on said platform. The question is, at what age do you think that they would be able to survive in the real world from what they learn in academics perspective, not from a social perspective? You know, like a kid is still a kid, but my I'll let you guys, throw your guess in the chat, but I'm kind of close to about 10 or 11 years old. I don't think you need to know more math than that to do everyday common tasks. And you obviously will learn, as we all learn, on the job. They can't write cursive or read it. How do they sign it? Well, that's the thing. Let's just be honest for a second, right? Let's not age with the way our parents aged. I work in technology, and it's been 15 years of people using some sort of finger sign. Or when you do your taxes, you don't even have to do a signature. The computer program, you could just put your initials in the date, and they consider that like a fingerprint sign. So you have DocuSign, and you literally could just swivel. It's not as much of knowing how to write cursive as it is that moment that is capturing that event. right? So it only comes up when something happens, when something bad happens. When something good happens, anybody could sign whatever they want. You know, you never took American history. Yeah, you learned nothing. Well, it didn't. I don't think you needed it. Oh, that's cool. She looks up cursive words. My daughter, she does Duolingo, just independently. She just finds it cool, and I think she's on like 115-day streak. And this is where some people don't understand um, the benefits. This is really why what I would like to promote. Oh yeah, and by the way, Katie, I'm left-handed, so I'm down with the doctor scribbles for sure. I'm left-handed, so I've always written on, like I struggle with the notebooks and the way they're made, but I can write cursive. But yeah, people don't understand that the good side of it's not whether to tablet or to use screen time or not use screen time. It's that's not really like the thing for me, at least as a parent. For me, um, my daughter independently hangs out and does Duolingo, right? So she has this. She knows she's learning. She has her own idea. She's not being pushed in this direction. She has her own idea of why she wants to do that. Oh, okay. Incident reports. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man, yeah, 30 signatures. That takes me back to when we closed on the house. I feel like I signed my name like 50 times. That it was like a workout. I don't even know what I signed. But yeah, I guess that's why you need a lawyer. Dawn said yes. We have the non-paper too. Workplace still paper. Yeah. Hey, Julian. Yeah, it does take a degree to read. It takes you have to stay with the doctor for a good amount of time. Couldn't find my email. If you in the about section on the hey, what's up, Go Father? It's in the about section on the YouTube channel. I'll look you up. I thought I would get you. I did check my email today too. I'm not a avid checker of my Gmail for sure. Uh, yeah, I was checking your channel out, Justin. You was it was so funny the moment you you was talking about the OBS, and then you took the camera and you turned it around. I was rolling like it's like, man, there's so much going on the screen. You have no idea. That took me so it was so stressful. I guess my thing is I know what I can ignore, and I kind of just like rearrange it for me. So it would. I think I'm pretty. I'm all right now. Now I can start doing some in investment. You was watching both. Cool. Yeah, so tonight, Justin, we're just talking. I was talking about people who have it all figured out. Those people that just give good advice that they don't follow. Probably gonna watch this video and react to it a little bit. I just came across it like right before I got on stream. I think I find the dynamic of people, the way that people the simplest advice is the thing that we miss the most, and these tools and technology is so complicated, and we can't just put it down. We can't just like walk away from it and just go outside and breathe. Like, remember the advice of, like, if you work at an office, make sure every hour you use 10 minutes to go walk around. Like, how remedial is that advice? Go get water from the water fountain. Like, where are we going with this? Oh, you left the Farmly report. Yeah, no, this some cool stuff, man. There's a lot of goats. Dawn says, I saw an app that allows you to video in YouTube vertical and landscape at the same time. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Dawn, don't get me to keep changing up my technology, but I do want to talk about it. I got excited about that one day. You could multi-stream. There's different ways to do it. YouTube has a feature inside just of the YouTube Studio, but I misunderstood it at first and I got kind of frustrated. Essentially, if you have a horizontal stream, the landscape stream as you called it will scale down, so it would just trim the middle part and it'll send that as a vertical stream as well. So I guess if you do that, you would have to kind of organize your camera in a certain way. And but at the same time, like you're dealing with, I think they do that, so that's not a doubling of your bit rate. But then there's another way where you multi-stream and you're sending out two signals essentially. Maxine the squirrel. Oh, you sit at the computer for 8 hours, try to walk to the kitchen. Yeah, Katie, I just think that is so. Mick the pig, what's up, man? What is up? Yeah, I just think that, like, I don't want to put anyone in a coma, but someone in a coma who actually hears everything. Think about like a fly on the wall, and they hear the advice that we're getting from people. And so we've schooled, we were talking about like going coming up and what you learn, and is it complicated? What should you be teaching? That's kind of where my heart is always at. And I feel like from being a student, there was all this contention that was put on getting through school and get this education. And then by the time you get to college age, that's really where you veer off and you start to say, I'm not good enough for Harvard. I'm not good enough for MIT. And, like you said, we ended up in community college one way or another. I did end up getting my bachelor's, but that's not where I started at, right? So you're making this kind of leveling out there, and then you get older, and then somebody has to tell you to go drink water every 10 minutes. It, it just doesn't seem. It seems like the older you get, the it's just weird. It's just a funny world that we have basic advice. Like if I were to tell kids that are feeling bullied, and I'm sure you guys have said this, like turn off the app, close the phone, shut down the tablet, shut down the computer. You don't have to do it. Go walk outside. It's just simple advice to get us by. Hearing is the last sense we lose. I didn't know that. Makes sense. Oh, you only have an 80 and don't care to get your BS in? Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so the 80 is that's an associate's. Okay, so I guess that's associate's degree in nursing. Yeah. Well, listen. Whatever makes you happy and allows you to fulfill your goals. I do feel like 20 years ago, I felt a lot of pressure to be something that I don't think was realistic. I don't think it was realistic. I think that when I got into, a profession, hey, what's up, Annie? When I got into a profession, I felt like I was just super surprised at it's still till this day, I'm super surprised at the things that I see sometime. Like my friends that didn't make it, they didn't make it because the pressure. They felt they weren't smart enough. And I'm like, my friend could have very well substituted with some of these people over here. In fact, it would be more fun. We would actually gain this synergy and get things done. Um, when I went to college, we still had floppy disk. What's hey, what size floppy disk? I have a floppy disk drive in the closet right here. The closet is all messed up. I'll pull it out, but I have a floppy disk over here. What size? Because if you're talking about, was it 5 1/4? You're talking 5 1/4. That I've used one. Oh, Northwestern. I love their colors. Hey, are you guys into March Madness at all? If you, I watched the women's um highlights of South Carolina. Dawn Staley is the coach. She played formerly in WNBA. Man, I have so much to say about women's basketball and where it's going. I don't know. Is anyone interested in that? People hired essential nurses. We were taught to be ready. The 8 ink since two. Oh, you go back to MS DOS. Yeah, yeah. Me too. Me too. Um. Oh, was it 8 inches? I thought it was 5, because the small ones are like uh get us up to date. Hey, what's up, Shannon? How are you? No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to get anyone up to date on March Madness. Victor Pick. You know, I'm not into the actual sport itself anymore. But I just thought there's been years, especially with Katie and Dawn in here. It's been lovely. We For a long time we didn't really have women represented in here. So so we did Office backup daily. He was the disc carrier. I have copies of everything out of the building in case of fire. I worked at a job where they did CD backup, so I am somewhat familiar with those times. But yeah, man, that was so. I'll tell you something. This is part of my story. I love expressing this, and I never really have the time to. I've been telling stories like this my whole life, but it I would say when people hear you talk in the real world now, right? So the internet actually gives you a better venue for speaking, unless you're serious and you're making money, about speaking. But I would tell stories about things, and I don't think people really, really understood the gravity of it. So I'm a software engineer, right? No, Cloud. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. So I'm a software engineer, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I got there. I'm gonna start from the beginning, right? Hey, what's up, Deborah? Um, I'm gonna start from the beginning. My mom worked at a company who is no longer around called Lowy and Associates. Lowy and Associates used to do um, office furniture for businesses when they expand. They would do the office furniture. So they had a lot of computers at the time. So we're going back to like late 80s, early 90s. My mom used to come home with computers. And it was the old computers, companies were still cycling stuff, and it would be the old computers. What happened to this is the cam. I have a different lens for it, but I didn't really have much time to set it up. This is a different camera. I didn't stretch it out. So like, look, if I go on this is probably a better density of it because I stretched it out. It's not a mirrorless cam. It's half crop. It's the crop sensor. I only have a 60D. But trust me, we're gonna be going somewhere. So no, it's funny though that you said that. So my mom used to bring home these computers, and so this is my first experience with computers. So let's just say little 7 year old Darnell. I see a computer, it turn on. I'm in some format of Windows, probably some MS DOS, right? And what I used to do back in those days, bitrate of my settings now, I haven't looked at that in a while, but I could tell you, 6800. 6800. Tell me if that's too. Okay, so I'm right below. I put it right below that in my stream. The actual that's going out is actually going back and forth a little over 7,000 and under. And I am far from the Wi-Fi. I gotta hook up Ethernet, so that might be an issue as well. Um, my job in Hawaii was in a computer room. It was huge, loud, cold, and we were always free. You gotta keep it cold. You got to keep it cold. Me and Mick the Pick, we actually worked. They had a little data center where we worked at, and yeah, you got to keep it cold because those we were working around like mainframes, and they get hot. A little haze. Well, my lighting, I'm actually in a dark room, so I'm gonna test. I'm gonna get time tomorrow to test it out. The lens that I have is a kit lens. The kit lens are notorious for not having like the wide open aperture. So I do have another lens, but it's fixed. It's like a nifty 50, but the aperture is a lot more open. So I think it's a lighting problem primarily. But we're gonna get that fixed, and then I'm gonna get the little green screen thing going because I seen you. You was in the bottom left, and I was like, yeah, I gotta do that. I could do it. So we gonna figure that out. So yeah, so 7 year old Darnell, I'm on a computer, the click clack keyboard, everything you hear keys. So the first programs I'm gravitating to is at the time Minesweeper and the game Hearts. Have you guys ever played Minesweeper or Hearts? So I'm gonna tell you exactly how I got to be a software engineer. I've told this story to people and they don't like understand it, but so I say I'm 7 years old and I'm playing Minesweeper. Love the game. Till this day, I love the game Minesweeper. I'm a legendary Minesweeper player. So I'm playing that. Hearts, maybe a little bit of chess if you have chess. We're not on the internet yet. So my mother comes home with another computer. So I'm like, another computer. So I turn it on. It doesn't have Minesweeper. It doesn't have Hearts. So I say, how do I get Hearts and Minesweeper on this other computer? So I started tampering with the floppy drive. So I remember I had a lot of the ones I had were like a tan, kind of a tan, pale color or yellow. And I remember somehow copying the exe file, the executable, and I copied it to the disk drive. I put the disk into the other computer and I plugged it in and I played it directly from the disc. And I was, like, psh, aha moment. Copy and paste. And from that moment on, I understood how like computers work. I just was like the real computer, the behind the scenes computer. So even though I'm not a fan of Microsoft and Microsoft products, Um, I have to appreciate the fact that DOS, had a command prompt. And, I don't know how I learned how to copy. I probably, if I want to say it, I did not use the command prompt. I probably was just right clicking, copy and paste an executable into the folder. And that kind of got me started. So I would do those things every time we would get something new, or I would just test those kind of things out. And I was always shifting stuff around, and it taught me what a file tree was, and just the structure underneath. And that led me to, when I was 11, I started building websites. And I'm not, unique in that. We all were adding some sort of HTML code. I didn't understand what JavaScript was at the time. She said, I do have an external drive that keeps all my pictures on it. That is where my Napster music is too. Oh, you started with Atari. Yeah, no, I had a 2600. I and my mom didn't buy that either. Her boss at the same company gave her the Atari, and it was like, it was somebody sloppy seconds, and she gave that to us, and we were good, and that was it. Yeah. Oh yeah, MySpace. And before MySpace, Dawn, I was on tripod.com, GeoCities, and you can go back, and if you go to the Wayback Machine, you can go back and kind of find some of this stuff that still was archived. I won't tell anyone. Don't worry, Dawn. I won't tell anyone. Um, but I don't think it's illegal for you to have, Dawn. So you're good. The illegal part, if I'm not mistaken, it was to transport it. So like, you're transporting stuff across states. That's a whole different crime. You can have it, you just can't transport it. Um, that's funny. So tripod.com, GeoCities, oh, Angel Fire. Wow. That just like how the hard drive, the way, we used to have to like defrag hard drive. That's kind of how your memory is, and until you lock one piece of it, the other piece doesn't really like trigger. I have not said angelfire.com easily in 25 years. And when I said GeoCities and just telling the story, it just brought me there. So angelfire.com. These were, if those of you who don't know, Mick the Pick, if you're still around, just tell me if you know what angelfire.com is. He ain't gonna know. So yeah, we were doing these things, making websites. There was a bunch of gifs or gifs, however you say it. Now we get all happy about emojis and gifs, but those things were part of what we were doing. We had MIDI sounds everywhere. You would go to somebody's site. I think when I had my site, I would host like hundreds of MIDI sounds, and you click them and you play them. We had a bunch of weird different media players. That stuff wasn't standardized, but I just was doing that. And I remember being 11 years old and like actually writing code, and it just stayed with me. I wasn't programming yet. It was more what we would consider like a static front end. They say developer, but essentially all I understood was HTML, and this is like HTML 1.0. So there's some stuff that's a little different than today. But HTML 1.0 and CSS, which came on at some point, and then JavaScript, which is another Microsoft's baby. So I was doing that the whole time. Oh, used to build that's cool. I've always wanted to work on an arcade build. I was looking at a skee ball build the other day. She says Uncle used to build the computer components of pinball machines. Yeah, and that's not, sad to say, that's not real hard stuff once you have the fundamental understanding of what's going on, electronics and chips. Do you guys know, or have you worked with any microcontrollers or chips? Um, I mean, I'll just share some stuff. I always have stuff around me or around my desk. Like this. This is Raspberry Pi. The focus. This I don't feel like refocusing that. So this is a Pi. Um, it's a microchip computer. Um, those things are not really hard to work with. It's just a basic fundamental knowledge that I would think that we should all have. Um, just show you the Pi real quick. So this computer when it came out, I want to say it was like $25. I don't know how I got on Bing. I must have been talking about Microsoft so much. They sent me to Bing. Wow. Yeah, you sure they do that work on casino stuff? Yeah, by all means, it's the same stuff. I mean, even hospital equipment. You're talking about the Internet of Things. These are just a chip is a chip, right? A chip is a computer by its own right, and it has sensors and it has inputs and outputs. When a chip is a chip. Is what can the chip do? What do you want it to do? I mean, I've worked on some very prototype, goofy projects in the past. Nothing extraordinary, but I had assumed that when these things came out, it's been a while now. I want to say how old am I? I want to say the Raspberry Pi has been out for 15 years, and I would have thought that everyone would have one. $25. Every kid should not have a barrier. Um, I'm not an IT guy. Did I just go into IT mode? Oh man, no. So yeah, it's not. If that's what you're saying, Dawn, it's not so much about being an IT guy. It's like the Raspberry Pi. I'll just show you. It's super simple. It's just a computer. It's not. It's a. Okay, hold on. This is just really about buying. Okay, so this is the Pi. I mean, it has HDMI output, USB C, same stuff you work with, micro USB, and you just plug it in. You put a SD card in it, and you press power. And this is literally a computer. It's the size of a credit card. Well, your data is not inside any of the part that I'm sure got stepped on. So yes, you just take the hard drive out of there. Go get a if I were looking at it, I would just recommend, depending on if it's a laptop, it's probably a SSD drive. So I would just go get a SSD. I was actually looking for one of these. What is it? No, this right here, an enclosure case. I would just go take the hard drive out and get an enclosure case, and then you could plug it into another computer. That would be the best way to handle that. Yeah, I don't think it would be that hard to get your data off. I mean, not to go the IT route as you IT guys these days, but a computer is just basic. What we call a computer, a PC, is like very basic. It still has the basic fundamentals it's had for a very long time. You have a hard drive, you have which is ROM, you have memory, which is RAM, you have a chip, which is your CPU, which does the processing. And then you have the ephemerals. You have, whether your mouse and whatever you're plugging into it, keyboard. It's really not much to it. My tax stuff is there crying. Yeah, it's all gonna be on the hard drive. As long as the hard drive is not damaged, it likely isn't. If it's a laptop, it's likely a SSD, small form factor, so 2.5 inches, and you just get a enclosure case, pop that thing out, put it in the enclosure case, and you plug it into the next computer. It'll show up as like a disk, and you could browse that disk. My oldest would love to talk to you. Told himself all about Linux. Hey, you. I know you know Linux ain't spelt like that, but I think that's awesome. Okay, I was gonna name my first child Linux because of the computer software or operating system, and I was gonna have to use it like that. Yeah, no, I'm all about Linux. I have been for a very long time. My mom was using. I got her. Like the thing is, using older computers is not. Oops. No, you're good. You're good. Um, Using computers. I Most of my computers come out of the garbage. I've made I've made my career on computers that come out of the garbage. And the only way I've been able to do that is because of Linux, because of having open source software, free software, open source. It comes with a learning curve, but once you get past the learning curve, you are pretty much a power user, and you're able to do things that most people are constrained to do in the primary, operating systems that we use, that being some of the Windows flavor or some of the iOS. Not speaking bad about them, they have their reasons as to why they constrain users or to try to keep you safe and protect this. I rather just be an open book. He leads the local chapter for that. What you said, I'm not gonna spell it again. Linux. Linux. Linux, that was created by Linus Torvald. Yeah. No, you got me geeking out over here. I don't think I've ever even said anything like that on the stream. But yeah, this is I guess I was talking about floppy drives because yeah, someone Dawn had mentioned it. But yeah, it's we can be at a very different place in the world if we want to, So you don't really need. It's not always a money thing. It's just like cars. I get intrigued by seeing the cars, classic cars that are still on the road, and yeah, they're probably going 10 miles to the gallon. Uh, he goes to conventions and everything. That's cool, being motivated. At one point I wanted to open a Linux store. But it would have been a bad idea. I would have lost a lot of money because rule number one, if you're a customer, if you have to teach your customer, it's probably not gonna work. We're so just going back to the fundamentals of the culturally the way we are. We do the same things, and until somebody that's important enough gets excited about something or introduces us to something new, we tend to kind of stay with what we know. So we stay with the brands we know and we keep them around. But yeah, I wanted to. I think Linux, and just so you know, like Linux is the foundation. You and me could go create our own version of Linux. That's the beauty of it. So the community is very diverse as to how you want to use this thing. You don't have to go deep. You could stay super surface level, But for me, I could take it. I'll take your old computer. I'll take the one that Dawn. So Dawn says somebody stepped on a computer. Did I get that right? Separated. Oh no, he said the board is okay. It was separated from the screen. It got stepped on. Yeah, I did read that. So I would take that stepped on computer, and I actually just replaced about a couple months ago a laptop that's been sitting around in my house. Me and my daughter, I made her do the research to go find the screen. That is when I get to make her use these tools the right way. So I got her to go find the screen. I verified it and checked it. She ordered it, and we installed the screen together. She's had her laptop working for at least 3 months now. Oh, you stepped on it. Ooh. Yeah, no, I take care. I try to take. I sometimes I take too good a care of my technology, like with screen. I don't like touching screens. Like if it ain't a touch screen, you'll never see me. I get very worried about that. Because I've never had the money to replace my stuff. I'm not a warranty person, and yeah, I just don't. I don't like that. The screen won't come on. Yeah, you probably the display is probably broke. Yeah, it's not. If the computer turns on, the screen doesn't turn on. You just need to replace your screen. That's exactly what I did. And to prove that, Dawn, just plug if it has a video output. Oh, don't run out and buy another one unless you really need it. Um, See, that's why this is how I get computers. Uh, I wait for you. I don't stalk you or nothing, but I wait for you to throw it out. Or you're a friend, and I'm like, oh, you getting rid of that? Oh, I'll take that. And all you're gonna say is, can you please just give me my data? Absolutely, I'll give you your whole hard drive, but I'll take the computer because there's probably components in there that are working and working good. I don't know when you purchase the computer, but I'm pretty sure it has use. And in today's world with prices, I don't know how much you guys know about what's going on with, I think Micron. Everything is going towards AI. You had to pay your bills. No, I get it. I get it. Um, when I say everything is going towards AI uses a lot of resources. No one wants to talk about it. If you are cool enough to watch, one of you, I played Rocket League a little bit earlier, man. When I get on, tell me what time you get on, and I'll try to jump on with you. Um, so yeah, Wally's World. Oh, no, 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 no. It's not about AI. Oh, so it's about hard drives. But AI kind of has this impact on a lot. So I don't know if you guys know, but AI uses a lot of resources. So data centers need to expand. They need to grow. The more, even down to what we're doing right now. No, and I'm not talking about our individual use of AI. I'm talking about how your all of our technology. If you know anybody who plays PlayStation, they'll tell you what I'm talking about because they seem to be really hurt about what's gonna happen in a few days. Um, but essentially, all this data is stored in the cloud, right? All of this chat data, all of the analytics data, my live stream itself, it's all stored somewhere. I'm not paying for it. You guys are not paying for it. Well, YouTube is paying for the data center to store all of this data. So because of AI taking up so much resources, uh, companies that make hard drives, companies that make memory and RAM, they're switching all of their consumer based focus to data centers. So they're only gonna sell to commercial. So that's gonna make the prices of what we are gonna buy to go up. So if you have any hard drives laying around, my advice is just to make sure you do an inventory on what you have so that you use it, because you're not gonna want to pay, and it's not really worth it to pay what the prices are gonna be until things get sorted out. Not I don't want to have an AI talk either, because I'm totally sick of it. You're gonna force yourself to learn AI and how to work with medical records. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. You might be able to, Katie. I would recommend to try to be a thought leader on that, and because what okay, so I work in the medical industry somewhat, right? So I deal with PHI, PII, and I have heard some conflict between AI and medical records because it's a big privacy issue. So unless the companies that you're working at have some sort of internal tool or some exclusive contract where their data is super secure, you're not really going to have to worry as much, but you could be a thought leader on the side of helping them to choose technologies and to govern and stay within compliance of how AI is working with medical records. And you're probably the best person because you already have the history of doing it. The scariest part is when you decide to walk away and someone just comes in as like a prompt engineer and they think they're going to fix the problems, but they don't understand the problem because AI can't really solve the human problems. And I was on stream one time. We went through and I spoke to AI about AI, and it kind of told me, yeah, I'm not here to solve humans' problems. Tennessee has the Elvis law. Heard of that? Yeah, no, I've never heard of that. He is disabled. He plays PlayStation every day. Yeah, so if he's going to be buying, the prices are pretty much about to almost double. So if he was in on the market for, like, I think they have the PlayStation Pro, the prices we're talking like $1,000 just to play video games now, which is insane. You think it's the only way to keep your job? Yeah, I'm sorry if you're feeling pressure. Yeah, and I mean HIPAA is a little bit. A lot of those compliances are a little dated for what's going on. The problem, just like in my where I'm at, um, when you start having conversations with AI, where's that data going? Who owns it? When people are saying AI, they're generally talking about free and paid tools that are a private entity that we are educating, and we are given um, the LLM, the large language model. And that's when you hear AI, that's generally what they're talking about. We're giving them data to be smart. They're already smarter than us from a thinking capacity, like the speed of thought, um, but they don't have our experiences. They're just reactive to what is being programmed inside of them. So the more we use those tools, the more it will know, or the more we tell the truth to those tools, the more it will know. You work for the VA. Oh, good old VA. We use PCC. Okay. Not heard of PCC, but I'm sure that there's a lot of overlap there. But yeah, I would say just make sure that you always want to be aware. I told you guys yesterday. I was talking about it a little bit. When I got into my field, I thought that I was kind of taught, you're gonna be obsoleted. So I'm not shy of that conversation. It has always been around prior to AI. I mean, new languages come out, programming languages come out all the time. And when companies, like I said, the dangerous part is not the shift in AI. The dangerous part is the excitement to the point where I don't know who you guys are anymore. I don't recognize the speed at which you want to make decisions, and I don't think you understand what's actually, you're just betting. You're just in a crapshoot now. You're going to the casino with all these people's lives with this company, and a lot of people just rolling the dice, and someone's going to succeed and someone's going to fail. Or I was feeling, I don't see it in healthcare. Oh, point click killer. Okay. But yeah, it's the excitement for me. People are too excited about it. Um, and, there's some parts of it that is snake oil. Oh, no. I've had some town halls recently. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Well, keep your ear to the streets. I don't think that that's new information of, keeping your ear to the streets. I'm always that person. I got the I be at when I used to be in the office, my ears were like I would just hear stuff because I always felt like I was two steps out the door anyway. Okay, scanning the computer, putting in. Yeah. Yeah, well, but what's preventing you, Katie, from opening up, let's say, Chat GPT and asking it a question? So this is, I'll just be super honest with you. I use AI as what I call purification and distillation. A lot of the thoughts that I have, um, I use it to sharpen a lot of the things that I say on paper, things that I say in email, that I say professionally. But what's stopping you from asking it to help you to understand what should you be thinking about when it comes to that conversation? And maybe it'll make sense to say, yeah, that does make sense for AI to solve. Maybe there's a pain point, maybe there's a problem that gets unlocked by using AI. You do what? That was the doctor. You saying you do what? I said you use AI. Oh, scan patient info into their chart. You know what? I mean, as somebody who wished they created a business that really helped companies for a long time reach their goals, I feel like what you guys are doing already should have. It's not an obsoleting thing, but I think that there was already technology that hasn't passed into that industry for whatever reason. Maybe because you're at the VA and there's a different like lane. It's not necessarily a private entity, but I've been working with digitizing um, paper processes for a long time. So I don't think, you know, can AI improve that? Yes, but we're talking about a one to the two, a one to the two, and we've already had technologies that are. I mean, even when I was in college, I was able to scan a piece of paper, and it would take out all the text from the paper that was on the paper, right? And it would turn those into. It didn't do it great at the time, but that's 20 years ago. Make the pick. We might have an application to build here. You follow them into electronic charts. Okay. Mick the Pig says, I used to be nervous about AI for a long time. I feel like I'm coming to the understanding that it will be a tool just like other tech. So here's the problem with that statement. And I keep saying it, Mick the Pig. The problem with that statement is, where do you put the excitement? Because if I read this as it's going to be just like other tech, why? What is the other tech that they also got excited in a way about? I don't think I've seen. So let's go back in recent tech history. So the last time I felt this kind of excitement, it was more of a leisure. It was like NFTs, blockchain, um, Ethereum, but that's like niche into like Bitcoin, and it's also overlap with the blockchain. And those things didn't really pan out. And I seen excitement, but not excitement to where I'm gonna cut half my employees. I just did an audit. I had to collect the data in 2 nights to get here verbal consent to be scanned into the chart. Right, right. So NFTs, blockchain, and the start of crypto, right? So excitement from the leisure side, that's like being excited about being like a content creator or influencer, where we were at a point where, every kid that's growing up right now, what do they want to do? Every kid growing up right now, do you think they want to do AI? Do you think they want to be a streamer? Right? So every part of the culture, every age group is going to carry where this excitement is. It feels very manufactured, Mick the Pig says. Well, it won't be a correction. What it will be is people are going to fail. If that is the correction, people are going to fail. Companies are going to fail. And the only hiccup, and hang on, Dawn and Katie, we're not going to get too technical. The only hiccup, and I don't blame people for this, if you and let's speak to Katie, you were saying more about being nervous, and I was saying that you should think about being a thought leader or a subject matter expert in that area when it comes to medical records in the digital and AI space. Let's say that a high percentage of the role that you play goes away. And then let's say that there's a lot of failure and contention and conflict, and the data is not disputable, right? You can't. The money is going to tell them that they have a problem, and then they're going to come back and look for all of these people. I don't really know, because the IRS hasn't really, I don't know if they fixed it or not. But remember, a lot of agents were laid off. My guess is that they're just stacked up in paperwork, and we just don't hear about it. I don't think they fixed a problem. But if I'm the person, as a technologist, if you prove to not want me, if you don't want me, it's now my choice. The ball's in my court when you fail to say, do I even want you? Ready or not? That's where I'm at with this. I am not. I see crystal clear. And as a software engineer, I'm on the list, and I'm high on the list. They are not talking about, oh, how can we implement this AI so that we can figure out how to feed people faster so that we could increase the nutrient density of the vegetables. It, we could house people faster. You're at the VA. My grandfather was a vet, had so many issues with the VA, so that we could get people processed faster, so that we could get to the mental health cases faster. Ready or not, So it's gonna be a lot of people. I feel like I've seen this crystal clear that if it's me, I don't know if I want y'all back. I think I think, like the James Brown cape. I think I'm gonna just put that cape and I'm gonna just let that cape rest. And I'm gonna just move on in my reality. And the industry just gonna have to deal with it. I wouldn't recommend the people who they turn their back on to go back to that, because we've all seen it. If COVID did not expose how poor management and leadership is to you, I don't know what will. And the blessing of having to see people that you look up to as leaders, people who are signing your checks, people who may have hired you and promised you all this stuff, and you watch them fold under pressure. There's no reason why we have to come back and deal with it. So that's, I gotta consult with my family, but if I am in the position that you're saying, I'm going to try my best to be a thought leader on the topic. Even then, there's no guarantee, right? So do what you can, and you'll get by. You'll get by. But we got to be there for each other. I could tell you that I'm not impressed. I've met people who are geeked out about what it can do, and this is so amazing, and there are parts about it that's amazing, but until we decide to, seems like we got more issues in the world than we've had, and we're trying to not pause on this thing that we don't actually need right now. Like, what is the need for AI? If you don't know, the basis of the internet itself was developed to share data. Scientists sharing data across the world. So this whole basis of information being traded has nothing to do with Instagram. It didn't have anything to do with America Online. Doesn't have nothing to do with YouTube, where we are right now. This is the side effect. What's up? You be with media. This is the side effect, right? We're in the side effect of this process. And COVID is a good example. Without the internet, how does science communicate around the world to keep, where you are safe and where you're going to safe? So that's the basis of this. It's just information trading. So you could say, no, we didn't need that. Well, I would say I think we did need that, because in the years that the internet became a household thing, we had some pretty serious issues that were changing the scale of mortality. AI is not helping us with our mortality rate. You back, you had to walk the dog. My dog doesn't like me, or else I would put her on camera. But yeah, welcome back. AI is not helping us with the critical problems. AI is helping us I know. Dawn, so I don't say it out loud. I'll say it one time. My wife is an MP. Okay? So I totally understand. I inside my household, um, I get it. Yeah, it was definitely awful. But yeah, the point was that the internet, um, the internet. Can you imagine COVID without the internet? There'll be I'm proof positive. There'll be countries that will be void of people at this point because the information that's being traded is what was necessary. Oh yeah, yard. I think that's is that a Chihuahua? And a mild noise. I don't know. I don't know much about dogs. But yeah, that's the point of that's the point of the internet. We don't actually need AI. So while we have all this other chaos, um, AI is supporting the in a sense the greed of people to push things to a point where they're able to capitalize on them as capitalists and keep us all in like limbo as to where we're going. They're deciding the supply and the demand. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was working at a college at the time. So we had it both ways. We had kids in school. I was working at a college and was in the hospital. So, definitely yeah, it was crazy times. But we're here. We made it, and I'm not trying to get too much into that conversation of what that was. I just think that we're at a point, and I think it's a point that we have to nail down. You without we don't need this AI. We just don't, and we shouldn't. We should not be at a point where we can't look past it. Mick the Pick was saying, he was weighing. It's been hitting him for a long time. Katie's saying, if she doesn't get with the times, it might be over, right? She may not have an option. Um, what's very crazy, you be with media, to say that we don't need AI? Is that what you're responding to? But yeah, um, if you guys want to entertain me for a little while, it's been a great. You don't use it at all. Well, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with that. But it's not an AI. This is not AI advice that we should always keep our ear to the streets to understand what's happening with these industries. We should not just blindly trust what they're gonna decide to do. You don't see it in healthcare because they know that that's where the biggest compliance issues and governance is going to be. So it probably won't come direct. It may come third party. But once it's a money thing and there's people that are optimizing, trying to get coin and optimize time and labor, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business decision. Uh, and people are super excited about it. So I was talking early in the stream about you trust your wisdom, trust your instincts. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I'm just not afraid of it. A good friend of mine taught me, he told me when I was skeptical. Now, I've had multiple skeptical moments in my career. Oh, they already have an app in your system. Cannot use it. Oh. You don't know how to use it or you cannot use it. Katie, I've had multiple moments in my career where I was not willing to um, move forward with the times immediately, and I felt like I was kind of burnt from that. And to me, that the lesson that I took from it was you don't have to use something, you just have to know the capabilities of the something. You're blocked from using it. Wow. It might be a third party integration into the overall bigger platform, but you see it. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna be in a weird space like that for a while. There was some information I got last week that was kind of similar to that about what we can and we can't use. But it's awareness. You gotta be aware. I am able to speak to technologies that I don't know them. I know what they do. But I just see it as that's my job. My job is to know the capabilities of things. Really, as a software engineer, you guys may not, I don't know what you'll think of this, but my job is not really to write like software. I've never seen, that's the easy part of the job because you don't actually, um, when you fix stuff, it's not really by writing it per se, like typing it. It's a thinking thing. It's writing things down and connecting the dots. But I think my job, if I had to explain it to somebody, it's giving assurances to those who ask questions. So you may have business folks, you may have technical leadership, and they want something done. And my history is it just surrounds having experiences in these things. So, like I was saying earlier, HTML and CSS, and I've done these things for 30 years. So, why I am good at doing answering those questions is because of my historical data. But all they want to know is the answer to the question. Do you have a path to do something? Yes. That's all they want. And moving forward, it's based on whether or not every time they come to me and you build trust and you say yes and it happened. Yes, and it happened. And it happened in a timely fashion. There's no secret code to it. It's that simple. If you can answer a question and you give somebody confidence, they're gonna take that question or that answer and they're gonna tell their leaders or they're gonna tell their stakeholders. And that kind of makes me good at what I do. Has nothing to do with how many languages I know, how many programming languages I know. Because most places, when you work on a program or on a team, they don't have all these different diverse things. So it's similar to what you guys are talking about, Katie and Dawn. You work on a platform. Well, I work on a platform too. I just happen to be the one that's doing tweaks to it, but there's a lot of overlap there. Look at your wife decision she has to make the experience she uses daily to make those decisions. I don't see AI doing her job. You lose too much. Yeah, well, but at the same time, Dawn, the excitement, the excitement. I don't want to say it in a mean way. I don't want to speak for people because I don't think that all business owners like conglomerates are heartless. Um, we are always talking to a doctor NP by text message, phone, writing, never AI. Yeah. Well, that's because of the legality of it, right? Once you bring AI into the picture, so my understanding of that, and that's a good point, Dawn. My understanding of that is a lot of times you guys live by your license. You guys take out your own insurance, right? It's your insurance. You may be insured for most things underneath the practice that you're at, but your license is under, your name. And when you do something, it could impact your license. So the reason why I wouldn't see AI disrupting that right away um, is because of the compliance. When you guys do notes, your name is being signatured every time that you do a note because it's so incremental, right? I did this, I gave meds, I checked on this person, this is my assessment. So it all comes back to the person. So when legally, when you get complaints and somebody wants to do a lawsuit, you have all of that data and they could have a scapegoat for who did it. Now, I'll give you an example of how AI could intervene without causing a rift. They can deploy an AI tool or a large language model that helps to fix some of the language that you may write down that may be a little confusing. So they can have things that correct your language, and then it's still you who acknowledges that that is the message that you're trying to send. So the onus is still going to be on you, not the tool. Be excited. Oh, I like how you use my word. Love it. Be excited all you want, but medical needs feelings. Yeah. Yeah, when you get I guess is that a diagnosis of cancer? You want a human in front of me, not AI. Yeah, no, I get you. That's why we're here. But on my end, we do not talk to doctors. We file the paperwork. We make sure that we have the docs that the people, like nurses. Okay. Yeah, no, that's two. That's two ends of this. That's a different end of the spectrum. And I agree. I agree, Katie. That's really affected jobs. Yeah, but there's nothing stopping you from being a thought leader. And somebody still has to observe whether things are going right, whether these new the new tech that comes in is optimized. So I think there's something there still, but you can't avoid it. They've left that role the way it is. Um, Whether it was someone coming in younger or like, look what happened. My mom is retired now. She was a bookkeeper and she loved her job. She loved doing math. I used to going back to like talking about floppy disk and all. I used to geek out watching my mom use the calculators with the printer at the top. So she would be flying through with the numbers. She never used the keyboard with the numbers on the top of the keyboard. She always used the numpad. So I used to geek. I always wanted one of those calculators with that would print the paper with the roll. And she was a bookkeeper, and in those days, in the 80s, early 90s, um, most private companies, small to medium sized businesses, they would hire bookkeepers. And then there came a time where accountants became the thing and you suppress bookkeepers. So the job was still the same from the bookkeeper side of what they were doing, but the enhancement of the skill, the industry made a decision that, well, they can also do that job. So why are we going out there to pay all these bookkeepers? Yeah. Oh, Dawn says, yep, you could pull back everything you wrote. Yeah. You've been in a case. Yeah. No, most of you have. I know you're not alone. You got to be careful out there. But yeah, and it's really a liability thing. When legal comes down, you'll get some support from your entity, but that support can only go as far as what you wrote on paper. So AI could have what I would call like a local AI, as in it does not go outside. Maybe you receive language updates into the internal systems because you already have internal systems, and all it's doing is making sure that your notes are that they make enough sense, or maybe it could alarm you when there's not enough detail in a particular note, like you didn't hit the points. It wasn't, I don't think it's smart goal oriented, but maybe you weren't clear about the time that why the meds were given. I know you guys have a lot of alarms and events in your systems, but when you're writing notes, I do see an advantage for the organization's protection to make sure that they standardize a lot of the things that you're saying in there to protect you guys even further. And AI could do that. Ubiwa Media says they make exceptions. Look at the first lady pushing AI bots to curb teacher shortage. Probably not happening soon, but coming. Yeah, no, you're right about that. I didn't know about it. I'll look that up. Ubiwa Media loves this topic. I don't usually get a vibe out of him when he loves this topic. Pulled every documentation I had written. Yep. Everything, Dawn. Everything. And rightfully so. I've built applications. I once built the application. I was working at a school, and the principal at the school, they were no longer able to suspend kids. So they were no longer able to suspend kids without going to the superintendent and it going to a case, like a trial where they had to present evidence. So they pulled me in to make this application, and when I say they had a whole timestamp presentation of all of the notes to be able to suspend the child, I get it. All his data is being stored. 15,000 keystrokes a minute on a 10. Oh, and then after she would do it, she would always roll, like, look, you got to do the cross reference on the paper. She would always pull up the paper to her face and look at it. Dude, Tape Depot wasn't. Wow. Damn. Case called off at 7 p.m. night before we were going to do on. Wow. That's crazy. That is what my company is building, a local AI just for our company, included in their VPN environment. Yepers. Your boy knows what he's talking Ready about. Or not, but it's not a bad idea, Katie. You got to get in front of it, and you gotta. When people are excited, you cannot stop their excitement. You can't be the negative Nancy, the negative Nathaniel. You kind of gotta let it take its course and learn about it. When you see a name, likely they're not gonna build their own LLM. Likely they're gonna license somebody else's, and you'll have enough data to go on and research about it. Do your research, ask who you need to ask, and figure it out so that you can get in front of it. He said, I tell nurses all the time, we don't need to know that they took the meds by mouth, okay? Duh. That was funny. Yeah, you be with popping off tonight, make the pick. Try to teach document. But Dawn, that's the point. Why would you teach documentation? Because you're a human, and you're going to teach somebody that may not to say they're incorrigible, but they may not be able to, they may not be at your level, they may not have your experience, they may not even see things from your angle. So there is, to keep a company safe, to keep the system safe, we want to standardize these things. We want to have a standard approach so that we're not, you got, especially the more you grow in your profession, to expect the independence, and you're kind of, in certain states, you're able as an NP to do your own practice. You don't need a doctor. So you're gonna have to protect yourself. So why not have a standardized system? At least you know that this alarm triggered that you did not give enough data. Um, and it's, there's the flip side of it. You give too much data, and it ain't the same job. It was hard to find mistakes. Yeah. Yes, you can. You like the poll, Lorinda? How you doing? Thank you. Thanks. The poll, I try to do what I can. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're meh, as they say. I would say, and I do give a backstory on the poll. You needed to hear that? Cool. Yeah, stay calm. I do give a backstory on the poll. The backstory. I do watch a lot of content. I've mentioned it about. I watch a lot of content. I don't know if you call it like healing. Treadmill69 says you need a treadmill. Hang, 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 hang. Is that what that is? I do. I have a treadmill I need to fix. Yeah, so the backstory is I do watch a lot of content where people are just talking about mindset, state of mind, and I struggle, or at least I identify with when things don't feel right, and I start to question. So I have certain people that I kind of go back to. I'll show you something real briefly. Hopefully I won't get a copyright claim. I don't really do reaction content, but this is what I was looking at before I made the poll. Just listen to, if you could.
The last message. Every day when we wake up, please remember, don't touch your phone. I don't want to say you love her anymore, but please don't touch your phone when you wake up in the morning.
How do you guys feel about that comment? Cause I was a little mixed on it, but that is the type of stuff that I listen to, I watch. I've studied a lot of, not specific to Buddhist teachings, but I think Alan Watts was on a path of trying to explain Eastern religions and practices to Westerners, and it's two different trains of thought. And I'm kind of like in that space where I pick and I choose, and I like to listen to, I'm still here, by the way. Hold on one second. My camera just, of course, my camera cuts out. I'll just play this thing. I'm gonna play it, and I'm still here. My camera's doing a update, the program that it's running, and that was hilarious.
This is a must. This is a way to train yourself. Every time when you touch your phone, your mind start wandering. So don't touch your phone in the morning when you wake up. Instead, make your bed nice and neat. Go to the bathroom, still no phone. Do your thing, come out, get a piece of paper and a pen. Write down the statement, say, today is going to be my peaceful day. Remember, always have to have a pen and a piece of paper to write that down. Even you already memorize it. I have talked about it for the last 108 days. So, even if you already memorize it, you still need to have a paper and a pen to write it. When your hand pairing with your mind, it makes a big difference. Write that down while our mind is thinking of those words, our hand is writing it down. After that, read it over and over with our eyes. When our eye is pairing with the mind, it makes a difference. We train ourselves to stay focused, remember? So concentrate on those words that you have writing on that paper. focus on it, read it over and over, and then finally read it out loud with our mouth. Today,
Okay, I'm my video is back. That was crazy though. This is my first time using this software, and I heard the camera make a noise. It like a lens shut, and the software, which is actually sponsored by Canon, for whatever reason, the software decided to do an update in the middle. So I know for next time, make sure I'm all up to date. But I'm back, and I was listening. I was listening along, and I just wanted to read. I think, okay. I mean, becoming a moment, he's talking long sound. Yep. Yeah, I get that. All right, so B was responding and say it's real about the phone. Yeah, so Lorinda makes sense. Yep. Okay. This is what I think caught my eye. Dawn says I actually took care of a monk once. It was very different in care. After death rituals. Yep. Spoke to. He rarely spoke to women. Only answered yes and no to me. Usually shook his head. Old school grew up without a phone, having a cord. You ain't old school. We used to drag that cord all over the house. And we only had one line in my house, so by the time we got internet like AOL, you had to make a choice. You was either gonna be on the phone or on the internet. That's how I got caught cutting. My mother always tells that story. That's how I got caught cutting school. I was on AOL at home, and she called the house. I have a photographic memory through college, memorized the page. I could see it. Oh, cool. But yeah, so about the phone, I had a little mixed feeling with this message, and again, it goes back to these messages they are so simple, right? They're like, go into the fridge and find something cold in the fridge. And why this message was a little mixed for me is, one, it should be very basic to understand that, one, you shouldn't need your phone when you wake up. Oh yeah, I remember party lines, but I was never on them. We used to use walkie talkies a lot. I was from the city, so with the range of a walkie talkie, you can go pretty far. But I do remember the party lines. Oh yeah, that cord used to. You remember you go to someone's house and the cord would be like all over the place because of how far you stretched it. I think they used to sell like 100-foot wires. You have fibro, Graves disease. Okay, fibroid tumors. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, you gotta live for today. So thanks, Lorinda, for bringing us back. And my mother was dealing with fibroid as well. So yeah, I think what I learned from a lot of the people that I watch, and I don't watch this monk in particular. I think this is connected to the monks that were doing a walk across the country. But I just came across this video, and I like listening to the messages. But I was a little mixed up because I I think, is it possible to get to a point where whether we use the phone or we don't use the phone, we have mastered our psyche to the point where we're not affected by the phone? It's sort of like we're not really in control of our behaviors. Almost like the phone, the way he explains it, and this is not the only Blue Daffodil, what's up? This is not the only time that I've kind of, understood what what can happen, but it almost feels like we're super powerless because pre doomer. That is that's a t-shirt. um oh man, that's that's hilarious. That is a t-shirt. Yeah, the phone was busy all the time. But so like the whole, touching a hot pot or touching a fire on the stove, like you do have to go through those experiences to know like how you're gonna get burnt. Or anyone who's ever used like a curling iron, like everyone has like a hot comb or a curling iron burn if you've ever used one of those. Or if you grew up around women that use those things, somebody you got burnt. So that burn teaches you how to kind of operate or move around that thing. The phone, for whatever reason, is so powerful that a Buddhist monk is telling us, he's telling us, don't look at it, because in his words, it makes you, distracted in a way. It makes your mind wander. That's what he said. It makes your mind wander. I just hope that I'm at a point where I'm not giving the phone the power, because just like I was talking about screen time earlier, you can take the tablet to give it to one kid, and that one kid will poison themselves with useless material and content, and you give the tablet to another kid, and they enrich every fabric that contributes to their health for the rest of their life. So, in that example, it's not the device, it's the person. And I understand we're losing this battle because of how good they are at tricking us in engagement. But I want to get back to a message where we are okay with using the phone. We want to control how we use the phone. We want to understand that, oh, this is, like, think about it from a nutrition or just a food standpoint. So my wife doesn't do good with oily foods. So when we go out and, you know, something's on the menu, I gotta keep reminding her, hey, that's probably a lot of oil in that. So we're at the same restaurant, we're eating the same, we could eat the same foods, but we're all gonna be impacted differently by the phone. So that's why I do distraction free mode. So like my screen goes gray after 10 p.m. and I keep it so that I'm not being stimulated like that. So it's just weird that this thing is so powerful that we can't fight back. And I disagree. I think we can fight back. I think we need ground rules to understand how to fight back, because first you have to be convinced that you need to fight back. Blue Daffodil, I missed a couple messages, but that one stuck out. This is Darnell. It's all about, it is about discipline, but you have to know how to be disciplined. You have to know what to be disciplined about. So I think that we've accepted, we're multiple generations into having phones, as a routine. Where phones have, I would say, ever since the turn of the century, phones have, teenager or better, have had access to device and phones. So we're growing people that a phone is as normal. A phone might be in someone's kitchen more so than things that used to be in the kitchen, like pots and pans, because everyone uses an air fryer today, right? So it's common. So you don't have ground rules on, my argument is that you don't have ground rules on the thing that is so common to you and to everyone. So when we got my daughter's first phone, the only phone she's had, but when it was her time that we thought she could have a phone. um that was really, I had to make her understand that don't give the power to the phone. Like, a lot of it we have out of necessity. But she's going to use it, how she uses it. Let me just catch up in the chat. I'm thankful we didn't have all this technology when I was younger. I might have spent time in jail or worse. Lorinda, I played games when I was a kid. You could make an argument that the games are overstimulating, that being on the internet with games. But we did a stream about 3 weeks ago. The government and all these entities, there were hundreds of studies on, and I'm just speaking to games, but there were hundreds of studies on games and their impact, and they concluded that they were wrong and that there was no impact other than the potential to have aggressive behavior disorder, which you can get that from sports or anything else. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we've lost the ability to look. It's not just electronics, right? It's not just technology. Do you guys know that food is doesn't have the same, and when I say food, I mean stuff that grows does not have the same nutrient density that it had 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So are you able to detect that we don't that our foods are also going in the wrong direction, right? So we've kind of like lost touch with a lot of things. We're losing our power to understand our environment. Dawn says cause and effects. Monks use their minds. Yep, they meditate most of the day. Yeah, they seem very peaceful. Our brains live on pleasure principle. That's a song. Has to have oxygen and sugar to function, but the pleasure, yeah. Yep. All things in moderation. That's balance. Yep. It can feel pain. Yeah, when our brain is pleased. But so the only thing I'll say to that, Dawn, is the brain can be tricked because the brain is good at the organic implementation. The moment that man makes inorganic implementations, the brain and the body itself doesn't necessarily know what to do. So like the reason why, high fructose corn syrup, your body is not going to digest it, not as a sugar. It doesn't know what to do with it, the same as alcohol. So the brain the same way. So when we have these foreign objects entering, we don't really control, and that's kind of how. And I don't really want to go that route, but a lot of, in my understanding, a lot of disease is caused by, if you check out like Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi says that there's only one disease to the body, and that's like um, mucus. And wherever that exists, we call it something different. So if it's in your lungs, if it's in your throat, we just call it something different. But it's really what we're putting in our body. Lost 50 pounds in the last 10 months. I'm not dying in entertainment. Yep. Portion control. Well, it's a lifestyle change. That's not a diet. That's a lifestyle change. I went through that. I lost at one point, maybe like 4 months ago, I lost 30 pounds, and I'm probably gonna do something similar again. And what got me started was a monk. A monk got me started. And what he was saying was about having mind control. Like your mind needs to empower itself and to only eat when you're hungry. It was talking about focus. And he said that what we're thrown off by doing something and thinking something else. So when you're at work, you think about eating. You think about being at home. He's saying just do your work, get it done. When you're up, you think about sleeping. I'm tired, and so when he said, especially for people that work remotely, You should eat 3 times a day. He says 8, 1, and 6. And if it's not that time, you just starve your body until there. Phones, yeah, phones please our brains for sure. Well, the games you play, but you know that your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and games. The more serious games you play, I play Rocket League, and it's a never thought I'd be explaining this, but if you don't know Rocket League, it's like cars in a uh, soccer field where the cars are hitting the soccer ball. And if I play that game too much and I go out and get into my car, I feel like I'm playing the game. And I almost want to do like a move of what I was doing when I was playing the game because that game is so stimulating. Oh, yes, because nowadays morticians use less embalming fluid due to the preservative. Wow, did not know that. That's a freaking factoid if I ever heard one. Wow. Wow. That's mind blowing. So Dawn did know the thing about nutrition. Yeah. Yes, some is used for energy and some is not useful at all. That is how we get fat. It makes it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and you know, I don't have a license in any of this, but I'm interested in fasting and intermittent fasting. Um, play match 3 or time managed games. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're probably in the casual games category. When I used to take the trains in New York City, you would always it went from people just being stressed out, being on the train coming home from work to like you would see a whole train full of people and everybody would be like this and they would be playing, a game. Flappy Birds. And they'll be playing. Those are like casual games. That was definitely a vibe. You probably still are attracted to those, which is cool, which is actually a good thing. But I don't know if that still goes on the same way because a lot of the really good games, as far as the ones that have big investment, um, they're able to play on your phones with ease. So I've noticed a lot of people show me they're playing like really cool games that they're playing with people on the internet and they're able to just play it right on their phone. That the processing powers. Yeah, Farmville, yeah. Nutrition is a hard subject to learn. Yep. Yep. Well, it is hard to learn, but what's not hard and what can't be necessarily taught from the outside is getting in touch with yourself and how you respond to certain things. So I feel like if we slowed down, we would be able to, work through some simple improvements. Like when I forage, right? The the thing that I've been taught, and this is, I'm just basing this off of the internet. I don't have like a master teacher, but they say, first you have to identify the plants that you assume to be edible. You look at the traits. Now we're going down to senses, right? So there's color. It may have something distinct about it. Might be smell. It might be a touch. It might be a texture. So I'm using all these senses to finalize that plant is what I think it is. And now I have historical data on whether or not that thing is edible. But you don't eat it. You can't pick out like the guy who came in with all the what was it, treadmill? You kicked him out of there, make the pick. I don't know, man. You're a good bouncer. I don't care when these people come in. But yeah, all your niece has, man, those nutrition books were huge in college, man. That's crazy. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh man, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back. It'll come. I'll just read. Nutrition is hard to learn to read. Okay. Yeah, this was a cool live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't. A friend of mine asked me. This is the second time he asked me. He was like, uh, it, a similar question. He asked about how do you go on there and just talk? I was like, first of all, my name is Darnell Just Talking. And I mean, the easy answer is the interaction is everything. So that makes it easy. All right, I'm probably frozen. I'm still here. I just, I don't, I think I didn't charge this battery enough and I don't have the plug, but I'll, 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm still. Man, Justin did say these controls are crazy to manage on the fly. Okay. Didn't think I was gonna have to do this. Okay. Ta-da! One camera to another. Alright, my niece has a degree in I mean, people. Oh, you're so glad. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, you watch Farm Family. You almost, yeah. Hey, I almost became a Farm Family. you, you might have been in the same. No, it's yeah. I'm in what is gonna be the new permanent for some time, and it's actually cool. Make the pick because I'm gonna be doing like it's more of like a game studio I have for my kids that are set up, and I'm gonna be kind of balancing, helping them with content, helping them do what they want to do and just lending a hand, and then I get my separation from that. But what's different today is the camera that I was on. I've been trying to work on this camera that actually doesn't look that bad. I think really I just need to work on the lighting. But the camera that I was on is a SLR camera that I've had for some time, and this camera is a web camera. So that one is running on battery, and my cheap behind does not want to pay for the plug so that it stays plugged in as a battery. But but yeah, Katie, you almost you almost missed me because I tell you I was oh, what's up, CJ? This is CJ, everybody. Meet CJ. CJ is part troll, part family here. Um, I don't know if about the Diddy case, but we will when it's time. Obviously he'll be out, and it will be interesting to see what his moves are. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend time talking about no Diddy case. I don't know why you worried about that, brother. Are you on spring break? Spring break. What's up, man? Yeah, so Katie, just to speak to that point, um, I it's hard for me to become a farm family. Um, I think what I do is called alone steading, not homesteading, and I try to get that across. It's not ideal, but it's really hard to everyone has to be on board, right? With what you're trying to accomplish, and I struggle with that. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of thinking, And everybody doesn't want to do that. You know, when people work and they come home, they want to go to sleep or watch something on TV. They don't necessarily want to, right now I'm thinking of 5 different projects and I take it day at a time. You watch a lot of, oh, you now that's old school. If you watch court TV, that's old school. We used to watch all of that. Hey, you know what? You just gave me an idea, Dawn. We should have a soap opera night where we do All My Children, Young and the Restless. Like that would be fire. Because it doesn't matter where you come from in this country. In those times, we were all, if you had a TV, we were all exposed to those things, and that would be so cool to do like a court TV day. um that would be fun. Oh man, yeah, that'd be awesome. Make the pick, right? Days of Our Lives. Yeah, yeah. I was All My Children. You had to follow what was going on in your house. And my mom favorite, some of my favorite days was staying home watching all my like if I was sick at home and my mom had to stay home, but she would watch All My Children. And then most of the conversations, and we called them the stories. We didn't say soap opera. We said, "Did you watch the stories?" Erica Kane. My favorite was Demetrius when in All My Children. I don't know. I forgot the character that he was with, and she had him like in a dungeon. But yeah, that was classic TV. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like I said, as time goes on, I'm gonna really figure out. They're still kicking it. Wow. I'm gonna figure out how to improve the stream, more production value. If you guys are willing, I know you would be willing, but I'll just say it. Landscape and horizontal would definitely fit. We'll be able to see more. Whether you watch it on TV, phone. Um, this thing really, it sucked that I had to do this, but I also am happy because I was able to meet a lot of people. And people, it's you got to find that middle ground which connects us all. So the things we've been vibing on, I mean, they've been more serious topics than I've definitely. Well, you guys are really Catherine. That to me, that's the name. I think it's Catherine. Yeah, Jill and Catherine fights. Make the pick. You watch some stories. I don't know what was being watched. I know they were still on when you were a kid, but I don't know if like everyone was exposed to it. Like I remember my grandmother talking about the stories, and everyone would call everyone up. Did you see what happened with this person? They were so cheesy. Man, we got 23 votes. Let's see. With 48%, not even sure. But 43% today and 9% tomorrow. No one's living for yesterday. Oh hell yeah. That's cool, man. That's Chancellor. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it's I ain't gonna lie to you. When I look at my kids, I have the Google like Android TV kind of situation. And when I look at my kids, especially my son, it's like looking at, he doesn't look like me, but when I look, I see him. I used to say this thing about you're getting old. Now here it is. Mick the Pick may have heard me say this, maybe not, but this is a good one. You know that you're getting old when you look in the mirror, you don't see yourself. You see your siblings and your parents. Ready or not. That's crazy. When I look in the mirror, I don't see myself. I see my brothers. I see my father. I see my mom. I do not see myself. So when I look at the photos that are on the TV, and it's just like it just keeps going like a screensaver. I see myself in my kids. So it's like an out of body experience. That's meant. We had King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond from. We had a whole lot more than that. Ooh. Oh yeah. No, TV was awesome. You like that, Dawn? Yeah, you hear her when you talk. That's freakish. I hear my brother, especially now that I'm on doing content. I get to hear my voice, and I've had to get comfortable with the voice because there are times where I was able to get into the chat without having to answer the poll this time. I just have to close the poll. I looked into it, Blue Daffodil. I didn't see any setting that surrounded that, so I don't know. I don't know if it's YouTube because YouTube used to have the poll from my screen. It used to be on the top, and now it shows on the bottom. And I'm wondering if their updates had something to do with it. Dawn says I missed that person too. Yeah, no, it's tough. But I try to, I'll get sad about it every now and then. The whole what I see and what I hear. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of cool, because we're still kicking, and you you gotta live for today, and today is the day. Look at that. Today is a day, and look when I say that. I still have this other camera on, but look when I say that. Look at what message. Look at the closed caption that's on my other screen once I said that. Today. I have some like freakish I guess it's in a deja vu territory, but I'll like mention something that I haven't thought of in a long time, and then somebody will come in the room and they'll say something that kind of correlates to that. Like a couple weeks ago, I was talking about St. Lucia, then I got on the stream. It's like, where you from? And the person's like, St. Lucia. So when I see stuff like that, I don't know if it's my subconscious that made me say that, but then I look over there and I just see today. It's like someone talking. You better live for today. You look like your mama. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity, but I have this. I have a few voicemails that I've saved, like from my mom, um, to like of her friend that passed. But yeah, voice is interesting because especially in the era that we're in, there's a lot that could be done with voice. To like recreate. I don't like to get weird about it, but you can, if you there are things that could be done with voice to expand on someone's voice. Yeah, deja vu for sure. Um, but it's always in the. I don't know. I don't get bad deja vu. I don't get like moments like, oh, this thing bad occurred and I feel another bad thing. It's always like it's like I'm stupid. It's like the feather in the beginning of Forrest Gump. If that makes any sense. It's like just looking at the feather was like flying around and it went from scene to scene. That's the moments that I get, and I'm never at a moment of brain fog. It's like a direct connection with, like, in this case, today. Live for today. The poll was today. And then I happen to pause on this moment where the closed caption says today glaring. So it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm looking at things the right way. And like for me, I just try to pass that on to my family, my children, and those that I affect personally. Um, yeah, like you were there before. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. It's like I was there before. I don't know. I tend to go into is there something to different realities, you know, different dimensions, because it's almost like you're going through something in the air when things like that occur. But like I said, most of the moments are good, or they bring you back to good feelings. I really don't remember ever being in a pause like that where I was like, "Oh my god, this hurts so bad," or like, smells, how smells catch up on you. One cool thing about and then I'll wind it down. But one cool thing about smells, it's a oh full moon tonight. Recharge your crystals if you have them. Okay, okay. Didn't know it was a full moon tonight. That means after the stream, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna look up. A lot of people don't look up. I look up and I just look, and I don't try to use anything I've ever learned to understand what I'm looking at, and I just look. And there are times where I have reactions to that. Sleep paralysis is crazy to experience. Oh, I used to experience that a little. If that is when you wake up but you're kind of like frozen, I used to go through that. Love to smell flowers. So I actually don't like to smell flowers. They make me think of funerals, and just cause of the way. Recharge. Um, but yeah, smells bring you back. So what I was gonna say about that, when I was a kid, I grew up in the city. Feel Mother Nature. Gotta say it like that. I grew up in the city, and I got the privilege to go to sleepaway camp in the summer for 21 days, so 3 weeks. It was so funny that my mother told me in my adult years. See, I don't know if I would send my kid off for 3 weeks at that age, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I don't know if I could. Actually, no. There's no way my wife would allow me to do that. Wait, you don't like the smell of flowers? Not most of the when people bring the flowers and like, oh my god, you gotta smell this. I get more of a trauma response to it. So it's not like a dislike. I don't. It's that when I smell them, I'll just be honest with you, Blue Daffodil. There's a lot of trauma. We've all may have seen different things, been exposed to different things, but there's a lot of like childhood memories that may correlate to like flowers and funerals and plants in general I'm okay with, but flowers in particular, cut flowers. I get like a maybe hopefully in the next chapter of today in my life, um, I could reassociate those things. But I think that I was overwhelmed with my original association. You love anything that smells. You gotta be. Oh, Dawn. Don't get me started about smell. That might be tomorrow's topic. Um, you have to be careful about that. Dawn. Thank you, Blue Daffodil. Um, you have to be careful about that. There's a lot of information about companies using loopholes to trick us through smells, and the smells not being real smells. If you ever see fragrance on an ingredient, fragrance is it means that they're allowed to not disclose the actual chemicals that they use, because it's a trade secret. So it could be dangerous chemicals that trick us into smelling things, and that's a lot of times what's put into lotions and shampoos and candles. And so you gotta be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just from somebody who loves the land and the organic way of life and being careful. Yeah, I would start to look at the ingredients if I were you. Um, oh yeah. Yeah, I know that. So yeah, so I grew up in the city, and my mom used to send me to sleepaway camp. It was connected to a boys and girls club that I went to. First year I ever went, I was 7 years old, and when I was older, I asked my mom, like, were you sad when the bus pulled off? She said that all the parents, it was like a big party when when the, and I guess I understand it now, right? Needing a break at times. She said it was like a big party when the bus would pull off. All the parents would like cheer. Like you could think about like just throwing up balloons and just like confetti. But I digress. That's not the point. But I think that that's super funny. But I used to go to a camp. The camp was in Kingston, New York. And what was interesting about the camp is the smells. Um, for 21 days, it was a switch. And my wife told me, and my lady, she says, "Oh, you went to a fresh air camp." I'm like, what you mean? And she, said, "You went to a fresh air camp." And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? She's right. I was an inner city kid. My mom couldn't afford to go to no expensive camp where you did all this, traveling, and we couldn't afford that. And there was a way to get these inner city kids out of the city. But my camp was beautiful. It was a beautiful system. I got lucky. So the smells were very different. The morning dew. There is no morning dew in the Bronx. Ready or not, nah, nah, nah. There is no morning dew in the Bronx. So I would smell all these smells, and I stopped going to camp. The age that you have to stop, I believe, is 12. So I'm pretty sure I went 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 6 years straight. It was some of the funnest times, and because of the sensory part of it, of no screens, there's no TV, right? Um, some radio only through camp counselors if they listen to the radio. There's a lot of things I think wouldn't be able to go down these days, but it went down. I made it through. I was safe. But for these 21 days, I look forward to that the whole year. And it was the smells, it was the freedom of being out there. And it's not as if when I went back to the city, I was not happy with being in the city. I was totally fine with being a city boy. And then I moved to where I am now. From the time I was 12 until 9 years ago, I think I moved here 9 years ago, I did not smell those smells. And they came back to me instantly. Like, and that's a part of this the whole story of me, of what I'm connecting with why, to me, I feel like it's easy to feel youthful because I'm smelling something and I'm like, I'm 10 years old again because I remember when I smelled that thing for the first time. And to some, it might be like, oh, that's, you're just smelling spring. It's like what you got in, those are just daffodils, man. Get over yourself, right? Like, those are just daffodils. Those are roses. Hyacinths, what you got in the chat, right? But to a kid who, I would need to probably go 20 blocks away to find grass, I never smelled any of that stuff. And so yeah, man, I was that is a interesting thing. And till this day, I'll be walking, like I walk on the, just around the, I only have an acre and I walk around a lot. And I just smell something and it reminds me of being 8 years old, 12 years old at camp, and how that like changed my life and blessed me, you know. But that's tonight's show. It is 12:47 a.m. Eastern time. Didn't think so. Apparently it's a full moon. So check that out if you have the chance. We'll close this poll at 23 votes. Let me just read this last comment. That will be a crazy technology when smells can be transferred through wire. Ooh. Or wirelessly, like visuals and sounds. Blue Daffodil, you hit it. There was one of my old coworkers was super excited about this military technology when they were trying to print food. That kind of sounds, that sounds similar. Katie says, good night. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. You had a horse growing up. I love the smell. Oh, yeah. Takes you back. Yeah, it keeps you fresh. I don't know if there's another, sense that it seems to be that senses don't um smell of vision, right? It seems to be that senses, like, I don't know, maybe I'll think about that some more, but as far as reaching back into my memory, like you said, smell of vision, I don't think touch really does that for me. I'm actually could see touch though. Like, I, for whatever reason, when I close my eyes and I touch stuff, I visualize what I'm touching. Really, it seems very detailed. Thank you. You have fun. Thanks so much, Dawn. Blue Daffodil, if you're still hanging on, thank you so much. Mick the Pick. We had a good night. The Lorinda, we had a good night. Ironically, and this happens to me all the time, I wasn't feeling it. And it's just a discipline. And when you guys, visions and sound can too, just what you're sensitive to. Yeah, get that. Yeah, you guys, when you guys come on and we're able to interact and build, truly have a build and start somewhere. This is the vision that I put out there. I know, Justin came in and we talked tech a little bit about this and camera and bitrate. That's par for the course. That's the stuff that's always going on in the background, and we'll get there. Ubiwa Media, who came in, he also coaches me. He's a photographer. He coaches me. Or we've had conversations. I know him personally. We've had conversations for years and years about, how to improve these things, and we'll get there. But really the focus is the people and connecting with the people and meeting your people, like mine folks, and, just being there and showing that, we all, hearts are beating, we're all breathing oxygen, and we share each other's space. So love and respect. You guys, thanks so much. This has been wonderful days. We're going to keep it going. it's my job to continue to bring the same energy. I don't try to be above or below. Just from a disciplinary standpoint, I do got to look at the camera more. So if you guys have any feedback as well, don't feel shy. Like I said, my email's in the about section of the channel. Um, Feel free to just suggest something. I don't have to, that's free stuff. But you guys watch a lot of such an enjoyable chat. Thank you. That's great. I'm great. I'm glad to be a guest and a host of that. And I agree with you. Something you may not know before you guys got here, and you do see, different people may come in and pop in, and I'm familiar with the name. One thing that makes it different with you guys here is the age group. It's a lot easier because you guys are in my age group, and I've been really trying to get there, but I don't get. That's why I really appreciate what Justin helped out with and sent you guys over here, because a lot of, you don't really you don't know who comes in. So when I get, hey, I'm 11 years old, I give positive feedback to them, see what's going on with them, but it's harder to hold a conversation because they ain't lived that long. So a lot of what I'm trying to offer, they ain't really lived that long. And then you get, I get folks from overseas. I do what I can. I've gotten people come in, they put Arabic in the chat, and we try to go back and forth. But what we've been doing these last few days is more within the design that I think works, and I'll just organically take it in. I've been getting fit. Hey, that I'm an old soul. Who's your okay, you gonna do this though. Who's your favorite music group? Are you on the rhythm and blues side? Because I'm a Temptations fan. I'm a Curtis Mayfield indie impressions. Don't let this young 40s fool you. My mom comes to me for music suggestions. Who's your favorite group? And congratulations on hitting the big 60. So yeah, you guys definitely fit. Who's your favorite Temptation, Dawn? Where do you think this comes from? See, so if you really want to know, when I play this, that's Lauryn Hill. When I play this, that's the Jackson 5. But when I go to the original, that's the Delphonics. And I tried to bring that to a stream, and it didn't hit that well because everybody that was in there was 12 years old. But look, that's a nice show. I could be on here forever, but I do got to go to work in the morning or wake up and go to a computer somehow. Listen to tons of country. Oh, you love some Earth, Wind, and Fire? I get into my, I don't know the lane of where country ends and starts. Music becomes music to me, but I'll throw on some Kenny Rogers. I know songs. I don't know as many artists. Oh, Peaches and Herb, yeah. Okay. Do you listen to Howlin' Oates? You like the original? Oh, Blue Daffodil likes the original. Yeah, the Delphonics. The rival between, we need to do a versus of the Jackson 5 versus the Osmonds. So I don't know the Osmonds music as much. When I watched, as a kid, when I watched the Jackson 5 movie, I remember that being called out as a rivalry. Um, yeah, I'm really, I would say 60s music. I would say that's my favorite era of music. Love the Motown sound. But every other one is cool. What's cool? I went through Michael Jackson's catalog, the solo Michael Jackson pre Michael Jackson's successful albums. He has like 5 albums that did not do well. Um, that's my guy. MJ's my guy. Oh, it's bar none, bar none. Michael Jackson has the best TV. Oh yeah, of course, Elton John, Rocket Man. Yeah, I'm down with Rocket Man. And I love how like my kids know Rocket Man through um, Gary Puckett. I know the name. The Union, yep, the Gap Band. Absolutely. Of course, the Beatles. But my kids know like Elton John through the movie Sing. Like, Elton John's song is in there. A lot of the kids learn the music through the cartoons that continue to keep those things alive. Not so much when we were kids. I think because records were still spinning, like we have vinyl in my house. So the collection, the history was there. Oh, the Dolly Parton. Man, I went to Dollywood and is it in Pigeon Forge? I don't I was good when I 2 years ago when I went. I knew the whole area pretty well. But Dollywood was amazing. That was an amazing, just fun amusement park. Music, Dawn, music all day. My headphones. This is all. These are not for streaming. These are my like go outside everywhere all the time headphones. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a music head. I know I'm not a subject matter expert. I just love to listen, and I do know a lot about music. I love the ones that turn into movies, though. Those help to educate me. I'm I'm all over. I'm all over the place when it comes to music, but I use it to help me. Smells get you music touch. Yeah. No, music. I think if I had to choose music or smell, I would definitely choose. Hey, Carolyn, welcome back. Yeah, I would definitely choose. I would choose music over smell. Music is like a music is a sense. the the music sense. Yeah, I would choose music. Um, yeah. Oh, Dolly, she really shows up. Yeah, she seems to have that rep. I mean, she don't really have much dirt on her name. She's been around kicking for a long time. One night, yeah, I would absolutely, absolutely do music. I don't know what the format is. The problem, and I've run this topic dry. The problem is, in this space, in this era, everything is like the copyrights and copyright strike and claim. I would kill. In fact, I was planning on doing. I had a show that I wanted to do called "The Music Show You Didn't Know You Needed," and we were gonna go and explore, old lyrics and fun stuff, but like keep it positive and clean. And I wanted to interview um first people that I knew who were like deep music heads, like my uncle Craig is deep into music. He was around with like early hip hop, and he always used to say, "What you listening to is not music," you know. Next weeding, how much? What you weeding? How much you weeding? Yeah, Dolly keeps her mouth shut. She seems super smart. See, the thing about I've always looked at Dolly as, yeah, you're right. She shuts up. She knows when to keep the mouth closed, but she seems super smart. Super smart. Yeah, no, music is everything. Um, yeah, but I really wish that we could do more on these platforms. If I sat here and I just played some music, that would be super fun. And we went through and figured out like a format. That's sitting in that nostalgia space. And the more I learn about what I'm trying to do on here and what it organically turns into, it seems to be a lot of nostalgia. And people want that, but we're a little bit limited on this platform because of, copyrights. Yeah, you hear a song and take you back to the place and time? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say that part, there's songs that I'll just fall out and I'll get the tear to come out right away that I can't listen to without a tear coming in my eye. Yeah, no, it's that's what music does. That is what music does. But I mean, the drums been beating before we've been recording, so there's definitely something deeper into the vibration, and a lot of other cultures, they could teach us a lot about that. Even like the indigenous people to many places. Carolyn, even at my age, well, yeah, Carolyn, I think you missed it. We were talking about soap operas. Right at 15. That was the days. That was a different time. That was a different time. But in your defense, my understanding, we're not mature. We're not really built for the world. I would say even at 18. That's it. You said it. Yep. Right. You took it right. You took the words right out of my mouth, Dawn. You still watch soap opera? you, if you got 1988 in there, you got almost 40 years of watching some soap operas now. That's what you're saying. I commend you. I think it's cool that when we talk nostalgia, I don't think that the younger generations, have the same connection to the same things like what TV was doing for us. Because even predating us, I was working on this concept called watching the radio, because there was a time predating television where families would get around. They would essentially watch the radio. It wasn't listening to me as I understand it, because listening, the radio could be in another room, or you could have a speaker somewhere. Oh, so yeah, you grab. Oh, okay, okay. I'm a little younger than you then. So families used to sit around and watch the radio. Um, but because everyone was doing it, you pretty much all got the same cultural experience. That's what the 80s and the 90s felt like to me. We were all generally doing the same things. Information hadn't reached its pinnacle, and we were aware of the same things. So me, I mean, I didn't there weren't any like black soap operas. They were comedies and sitcoms, but that didn't really necessarily appeal to me. But we all watched it. We loved it. We absolutely loved those shows. We all, like we were talking yesterday, Golden Girls. I think Golden Girls is, if we had to put a list out there and we had to vote on it, I think Golden Girls would be the number one show that we all watched. I'm not sure if you could find another show that if that music comes on, everybody is singing it. Yeah, you gotta no. I mean, hindsight. Hey, we all got things. We all got things in our past. But if you're living just like the poll, we just gotta live for today. You can't live for yesterday. Um, I try to live through transparency and honesty. And first, that starts with yourself. That starts with looking yourself in the mirror. Even though I don't see myself anymore, and I see my brothers and my father, but in the mirror, I know it's me. And you got to be transparent with yourself. And there's a thing that I work through where things that I would blindly think that I could accomplish. You didn't have microwaves to the 80s and cable came. Wow. You still watch Golden Girls? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And those lessons, the comedy is still funny. I more so watch, Carolyn, I watch Sanford and Son and the Jeffersons. That's more in my rotation these days. And I'm also studying it because I like studying the race relations a little bit. I think that it's weird for me understanding what I watched on TV and the world that I feel like. So if I'm an 80s baby, I'm watching mostly 70s TV because that's what was in syndication. And so if we're building on from that, it's odd to me that where we are today and a lot of the world is super sensitive, a lot of the media is super sensitive. There's all this collision and conflict and negativity. I don't really understand how we got from where we were in the 70s into the 80s. It almost seems like we went in the wrong direction, but then now many people don't want to remember that we were in a better place. Like when we were talking about Corky being on TV, I don't know why I forgot the name of the show again. Um, is it Days of Our Lives? No, that's the soap opera. But we were at a place. I think we were at a better place when it comes to just diversity, what was being promoted, just even like I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to the a feminist view of it or women's empowerment. But I know my psyche. Um, I think that there's obviously going to be things that are being suppressed, and I struggle as a black man. Life goes on. Thank you. I struggle as a black man, and a lot of times in the corporate world that I'm in, and there's a lot of questions that I face and have always faced. So I get that, but the content that we were watching, there was always a way to laugh with each other and not be super sensitive. My favorite comedic movie is Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. And if you watch that movie, um, the way that was handled, that's a Mel Brooks film. The way that Blazing Saddles was handled from a race relations could not happen today because of the sensitivity. And here I am, a kid, and my parents are endorsing this. They're laughing at all of this, and we're not feeling any ill will or negativity. It's sharing space, laughing at each other's fun, and it's a great movie. Absolutely. I I was telling a story about a fight that I almost had at the gym. Not a fight, but me and a guy were going back and forth, and I called him. I was saying Sheriff Bart. I was saying his name is Sheriff Bart. Oh, you didn't see that? Oh man, Carolyn, you might want to stop and see that. I'm from a different generation hat on though, because it starts off with a bang. It start there's a lot of messagery, but it's the humility of race relations. It's everything is juxtaposed in it, and there's a lot of just laughing at culture, laughing at not in a negative way, but just like in a giddy way, like everything doesn't have to be so serious. Like Mel Brooks films, in general, a lot of the comedic films that he made were like that. But yeah, I know I said I was gonna get off here a couple of minutes ago. But that was cool. Thanks for extending that. All right, so we're gonna close the poll at 25 votes. I'm gonna go do a moonwalk, not Michael Jackson's version, even though Michael Jackson did not create the moonwalk. Uh, what Disney movie? Song of the South is banned of Uncle Remus. Yep, Love his music. Yeah. 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 Well, we gotta find out platforms that bring the stuff that um Skippy Doodah. Oh, I can't say the line that I want to say on here. But the Say Hey Kid was who was that? The one that played had made a bunch of Gene Wilder, the um Willy Wonka. He was the Say Hey Kid in there. Blazing Saddles. Yeah, Mongo. There's a technology I use called Mongo. Pretty sure they got it from Mongo. I believe Blazing Saddles was released in 1979. Yeah, no, that's a if you had you know how I go through this moment where like if I can't find it on any of the free services, like I actually will, it's going to stay in my digital library. I won't pay like a high price, but if you happen to find it, that might be one that's actually worth it. um it's a pretty funny movie. All right, well, everyone, you guys have a good night. It was night 50. I think it's the first time I'm saying that on stream after 2 hours and 56 minutes. Yeah, let us know what you think later. Yeah, it's almost been 3 hours. Everyone have an amazing night, morning. As the Buddhist monk said, don't touch your phone. Do what you gotta do, and write something positive in a book. Um, I hope I'm gonna try it tomorrow, just to see. I'll smile at it. It'll make me feel good. Good night, Carolyn. Good night, everyone else. Thank you so much for making this an awesome stream. I will catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And if not, I'll see you when I see you. Um, if Mick the Pick is still here, this is for you. Sucker for love, sucker for love, sucker for love, baby. Today, we train for the 2030 Winter Olympics. Let's do it. But here by the fire we defy frost and storm. Ha-ha, we are warm and we have our heart's desire. For here's for good fellows and the beechwood and the bellows, and the cup is at the lip in the pleasant fellowship. Oh, here by the fire we defy frost and storm. Ha-ha,